first time my sister's story's ever been told. So, yeah, it's a little touching. She wrote, "My name is Erica Rogers, and this is my addiction recovery story." Thank you. My addiction first began about 13 years ago when I found out my son, who was 7 at the time, was being sexually abused. It had been happening for 2 years before he told anyone. Of course, I blamed myself for being blind and not knowing what was going on all that time. I'm supposed to be the one there to protect my kids, and I felt as though I failed my little boy. Not long after this happened, we found out that my father-in-law's cancer returned in his lungs, and the doctors only gave him 3 months to live. He passed away not long after that in 2009. We were neighbors and saw him every day, so it was especially hard for us. I finally convinced myself to see a therapist and was put on medication for anxiety and depression. After so long, they stopped giving me those meds, but the pain was still there. So I started doing pain pills. Fast forward a few years, and the pain pills no longer numbed the pain. So I started using heroin, as well as my husband did. We quickly became dependent on it, and it began to take over our lives. We had 3 children to raise during our active addiction. We ended up having to move from place to place because the drugs started to become more important than the bills. We almost lost our kids. Our first grandson was born in 2014 and our second in 2015. I want to be able to say we got help once our grandchildren were born, but it wasn't until a couple years later that we decided to stop ruining our lives and the lives around us. We got into a option program on May 9th, 2016 and haven't touched heroin since. I now have 6 beautiful grandkids who I love with all my heart. I have my own car, I have a job that I love, I got my GED, and I'm now in the process of buying my own home. I became a better mother, sister, daughter, aunt, and grandmother. We do recover.